What's up? So, just gonna do a review of this game so far. Noticed that a few of my friends don't actually like this game.
Well,
And stuff like that.
No matter, it's all out your arms.
Look, Dark Souls has always been a very niche kind of game. So even though it is very welcoming, I mean, to an extent to a lot of people, it's not a very easy game to get into. This game is amazing. I think it's the best game that's ever been made so far. And I've been playing games for a very long time, since like Game Boy, the original Game Boy and PS1 days. And that's what it would appeal to. People who played a lot of PlayStation 1 games back in the day, where you had to read guides and your friends would discuss how to do certain things in the game, how to finish a game. Finishing a game back in the day wasn't like something that happened. Like, you have to like work for it. Like, ever since then, games, like, developers have made games so that they can be finished, so that you can experience the whole thing. But like, look, back in the day with Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Metroid Prime, I mean, not many people finished those games, and when they did finish it, it's like a big achievement, and whatnot. Tomb Raiders, Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, all that stuff, like, they didn't have a giant hub that pointed you in the direction of, you know, the next objective or whatnot. This harkens back to those days when games were like actually difficult to finish, and there's heaps of secrets. Like, there wasn't any DLC, so yeah, the whole game had to be finished and released as is. I'm not saying this game is like the most stable thing ever. Like, for PC, I'm playing on PC, I've seen my fair share of crashes and glitches and whatnot, but that's just the nature of PC games. Like, when's the last time a Fallout game that came out and didn't have a bug? Cyberpunk, Elder Scrolls, all these games have heaps of bugs. This game has some, there's not really bugs, but performance issues. Okay, so of that little chat, what's this game like? This game is a big exploration adventure game that just happens to be kind of hard. If you don't enjoy trying to do something over and over again and getting better at the game, then it's probably not for you. If anything, this is like a rhythm game. All the enemies have a certain rhythm to them. If you get really good at it, you can literally just look at patterns and stuff and dodge and roll and parry and completely destroy bosses without getting hit. There are people who do no-hit runs of the Dark Souls games.
Delightful. I've been doing some and will from your description.
So like,
of course, less, and to you too.
This game,
it's incantate. Very well.
blah blah blah. This game, this game is a big action adventure game, dark fantasy with magic, where you can be literally whatever you want. You can be an archer, a swordsman, a wizard, a paladin. It's like an MMORPG in some sorts, because look how big the map is. It's freaking huge. Like, it's hundreds of hours of content, and I don't think people will discover everything in one playthrough. It's meant to be played multiple times, just like Tomb Raider and Spyro the Dragon. There's all these little collectibles in Spyro the Dragon which you had to find and had really hard to reach locations. Prince of Persia, all these platform puzzles and stuff. And you died heaps in those games. Like, I couldn't finish Prince of Persia because of how hard some of the platforming was. And I couldn't finish, like, Symphony of the Night Castlevania because it was just a huge game and I didn't get into it that much. So this game is not for everyone. If you're used to playing new games that literally just tell you where to go, and the game was designed for you to actually finish it, if you're used to that, this is going to be a huge departure. It's going to be really weird. It's like, what am I doing? Where am I meant to go? Why isn't there someone telling me where to go? Where's the waypoint? Why do I have to keep opening the map? Why isn't there a mini map? Why, a lot of times, does the HUD disappear and I get to take in this glorious view with nothing distracting me? It's an immersive game. People won't understand that. It's not for everyone. Because we've gotten used to just being told where to go, and this game isn't go to said location, shoot this many enemies, and then go to next said location, shoot that many enemies. This is like, here's a world, do what you want. And yeah. That said, what makes this game so good? You can get good at this game. Like, really good. Like, so good that you can walk over these bosses and you can fight every single boss at level 1 and still beat them if you're good enough and have the patience to do so. People will play this game with, like, not leveling up at all and just get their one weapon, max it out, and then play it like that. They're one hit away from death the whole time. But you don't have to play like that. You can max out your levels, you know, go for a grind, chase a mob that you like, and just keep grinding out the level and make the game easier for yourself that way. So yeah, but this world is so lived in. Most games with a world this big don't feel that lived in. There's vast areas in games like Horizon Zero Dawn where there's nothing. You're just random enemies and you're just going point A to point B. You don't care about anything else. And this game, you see all these waypoints and all that stuff. Every single dungeon, every single waypoint, every single square meter of this map is lived in. There are NPCs doing things that aren't doing the things on another side of the map. And the enemies are all different. They all have different fighting patterns. There's different, like, weaknesses and strengths. And it's like a vast, it's expansive, giant. It's like an MMORPG, pretty much. Only you're not, you know, doing things with other players all the time. But you kind of are, because this is constantly online. And at every moment you see ghosts of other players doing their thing without interacting with them. So it's kind of like an MMORPG in that sense, that you're all trying to achieve your own objective in your own way without, like, interrupting each other. But yeah, dude, like, if you've never been into Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Ghost of Tsushima was kind of like this. The HUD always disappeared and the waypoint was just wind. And then yeah, it's but like in this game, there's environmental puzzles. They're not just battling puzzles. There's environmental puzzles. And you have to jump certain ways. You are restricted in a way so that it makes it challenging. And that's what makes it so great, because everyone's given these set of tools yeah, you're just here to do this very vague objective. There's very vague objectives that you only get hints of through dialogue with NPCs, and it doesn't throw up a marker on the map to tell you where to go next, which makes a lot of sense. The NPC will tell you they're going to this area, like this Atos plateau, and it's your job to find them. Like, you know, logically, if someone's going on a journey, they're not going to know where they're going to end up, so if you just so happen to cross the paths with them, well then, you just happen to cross the path with them. And you continue their quest line. Side quests are done through dialogue and just running into NPCs. And it's like, oh, just so happens to see you here. Didn't expect you to see you here. Kind of shit like that. And that's what makes the game challenging in a way. And there's secrets in this game which you get to discover. It's like, look, you're not into treasure hunting. You're not into discovery, you're not into adventure and all that stuff. It's not going to win you over. It just... The main core of this game is not going to win you over, because the main core of this game is discovery. And just being wowed at how huge this place is, and at how big certain bosses are, and how they change forms, and how this world feels lived in. Like, if you can... There's no map and no direction, but if you can see a place, you can go there. If you can see a castle off into the distance, you can go there. The way that this game directs you is through item placements. So you see an item in like a windowsill, but you're like down on the bottom floor. You know there's a second floor now, and that it's your job to find a way to get to that second floor. If you want the item. If not, you can just keep walking.
Though we must do so. The master, while and though I know that the golden...
Blah, 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 blah.
May the golden order...
And the whole thing of you, like, repeatedly dying, it's part of the game. You won't be out, like, certain enemies that have similar movesets, but they're always slightly different to each other. Like in a fighting game. Every character has their own moveset. If you fight in a fighting game like Tekken, you won't be able to effectively, you can still do it, but not completely effectively if you are versing a new character that you've never seen before. And stuff like that. So what makes this game so great is the openness of it. It's like you're looking for treasures, and not everyone's gonna find the treasure, because then why would that be a treasure? Games, the Dark Souls games and so on, they've brought the community back together. Like back in the day when we played Mega Solid 1 and like Spire of the Dragon and so on, we would come together in the playground and talk about how we got certain items, how we beat certain bosses and whatnot. It's happening again with games like these. We have content creators that make contents and guides on how to do certain things and quests and whatnot, which made it come alive. Like, it's alive again. It's not just a solo experience and, oh, everyone just completed this game, let's talk about that level, which was pretty cool. Okay, we all did that level, we all experienced the same thing. In this game, we can both do it at one level and experience completely different things, because we explored different paths, or we fought different enemies at different times, at different levels with different builds. Every single weapon in this game is different in a way that they scale differently, so different builds are encouraged. And different builds are encouraged, trial and error is encouraged, multiple playthroughs is encouraged. There's no just playing this game, finishing the area. You play this game, you finish the area, then you come back to the area because you've unlocked more doors, you've unlocked new areas to run through and whatnot, and you discover even more things to do. Look, right now I'm like one-shotting enemies, but that's because I'm over-leveled for this area. And that's how you make the game easier for yourself. You just over-level yourself. There's certain builds in this game that make it, in Elden Ring, that make it super easy to win. So I guess even if you... Oh my god. See how I'm fighting on this tree root? I have to be careful with my movements because I could fall off at any moment and die. But same rules apply to the enemies. They could die at any moment, and because they fell off. Let's keep going. And that's like an environmental puzzle. It makes it challenging because you have to deal with another thing, and not just the enemies. You have to deal with falling off this tree and dying. And the whole idea that let me, so I have to get up there so that I can jump onto the roof somehow. So the whole idea of doing this makes it interesting so that you are encouraged to explore. Like let's say Call of Duty. What main mission level details do you remember? It's another corridor, it's another room, oh there's a bunch of enemies there, one of the enemies had a really big gun, yada yada. This is a tree growing through the castle that you can climb on, but if you don't know where to climb on, you can fall to your death. That adds depth, and you have to think about it. You have to look at it, and you have to stop and think. It's not instant gratification like we're all used to these days. And here we go. See, open window that you could see from there, so you decide to jump down and have it explore. I'm exploring now, and I discovered this area. Oh my god, look, it's awesome. And there's a treasure chest here to reward you for your discoveries. Like a pirate, I'm going looking for booty. And that's what makes this game great. And look, I can kick a ladder down now, so I can just climb up here next time, instead of going all the way around. And just made a shortcut. Like Resident Evil 1, and so on. Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, you can get shortcuts. Same level, but breathes new life into it. Because you're doing things, you got new skills, and you do things differently. So the battle system in this game, perfect. If you die, it's because you're not good enough. It's not because the boss was too hard. It's probably because you're not good enough, or you're too under the level to fight the boss. So go away, go somewhere. This game is giant. If you are stuck at a boss, go somewhere else and level up, and come back and beat that boss because you're really high level now. Have I been here? I've already finished this area, but I'm still discovering new things because this world's lived in. This world has NPC characters that are doing things on the contrary to what you're doing. Yeah. Yes. I got an item. Cool. So that I just picked up an item because I went and did some exploring. It rewards your exploration. I'm being summoned. And look, it's always online. I didn't try to summon myself into anything, but I used an item that would let me get summoned if to help other players. it's all interconnected. It's a really deep and amazing game. Just so happens to have bosses that are like, oh shit. Just so happens to have bosses that are like kind of hard. This blade at the moment is broken, so everyone's using it. Like that. I got invited to a game because someone's got invaded and we kicked his ass, and now I'm going back. It's all alive, interconnected. Just so happens it's not holding your hand, giving you waypoints, and the story you have to discover. It's like a treasure. You have to discover the story. It's not gonna just flat out tell you the whole story, because it's... Look, you just meet someone random on the street and you ask them to tell the story, probably not gonna do it. You have to work for it. You have to gain their trust, so on. This game makes you work for it. That's what makes it rewarding, because you had to work for it, not because it's spoon-fed you. And it's deep and interconnected, and you have to read the story through items and spells, like what we call flavor text. So it gives you the stats, and then it tells you a bit about the weapon. It's flavor text, and you know that makes things interesting. So you do spend the time to read through, and it does reward you by telling. This game can be surface deep if you want, or it can be very deep. Oh, try not to die here. And the best thing about it is every weapon that I've picked up in this game has made me want to try it and change up my build, because there's so many different movesets, giant blades, giant katanas, spells, miracles, freaking... It's awesome. It's just awesome. If an MMO was like this, I would play the crap out of it. I used to play the crap out of RuneScape, but that's because it worked in our school PC. Because of a browser-based thing. But it was it was hard, because in RuneScape, when you die, you drop your stuff. In this game, when you die, you just drop your souls. I don't drop my armor and sword, so this is easier than RuneScape in that way.
This is good to see you indeed,
So yeah, that goes my discussion about this game, why you may or may not enjoy it. I'm not going through the talk about what the bosses are like, because they're all intricate and smartly designed. All the NPCs are great. The story is there to be found if you want to find it. If you don't, you can just go around hacking and slashing everything. So yeah, this is the best game ever made for me, and I've been playing games since Game Boy, the original Game Boy, and PlayStation 1. So yeah, I'm just gonna close this off and then start my own stream. See you later, guys. Hope to see you in Elden Ring, and maybe my little review changed your mind about giving this game a go and coming in with a better mindset than what would just spoil your experience of it.